Hello everyone, welcome you all to Eminent Personality Spotlight by Technobase. In this program, basically we invite a guest who are well respected and well experienced, and from them we learn, from their journey about the challenges, the experience, the achievements of them. At the same time, also some advice from them as well. That is object of this Eminent Personality Spotlight. In this today's session, I'm very pleased to tell you that our guest is Dr. Rabindra Mukhopadhyay. We call him RM. Dr. RM is the director of the HASETRI, one of the Tire Institute in India. So it's a pleasure to have Dr. RM and Dr. Mukhopadhyay. There are so many ways people call him, Dr. Mukhopadhyay, Dr. RM, and also there is another name for him also. Maybe we can learn more about him while speaking to him. Dr. Mukhopadhyay, sir, thank you very much for accepting the invitation of being part of this session today on the Eminent Personality Spotlight.
Thank you, Prem. Good morning to all of you. And it is a great pleasure and privilege for me to give an interview to Technobase, Mr. Prem. And I am very much delighted to spend the few moments with him.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. I'm expecting a very interesting discussion together today. I believe that it is going to be very long, as you have plenty of experience. A lot of things you have done for the Indian industry. So we will go into details of all these activities in this session today. So please bear with me for the longer session today. Is it all right, sir?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. So let's before we jump into the various details, on the professional experience, first we go into your educational background. Okay. So can you talk about where you have been educated, and what kind of schools, what kind of institutes you're involved with, please?
I was born in the Kharagpur, which is one of the biggest railway stations. And my primary schooling is in the old Kharagpur primary schools, and secondary school I have done. This is a place where, this is my school. This is on those days, this is called Southeastern Railway Multipurpose Higher Secondary School. I spent here from 1957 to 1964. Up to about the 7-8 years I've spent in this school. Then after the schooling, I went to the Kharagpur College for my graduation in the science, having the physics, chemistry, maths as a background. And immediately after the college, I lost my father, so I had to take a job. I didn't carry the further, so I immediately applied. IIT Kharagpur came. It is the first IIT in India after the independence in 1950s. So after I just IIT, I did my master's and PhD. After in the PhD, I've done in the Rubber Technical Center. It was in the under the Applied Chemistry Department, and this is the first institute in India to give the rubber technical educations, especially the masters and the PhDs. And after that, I was also act as a initially the research officer, senior research officers, and as also faculty. I spent from 1968 to 1970, 10 years with IIT Kharagpur. So IIT gave us a lot. Today, what I'm owed to these institutes. And after,
IIT Kharagpur is well respected, particularly in terms of rubber technologists. Lots of well-known rubber technologists come from the IIT Kharagpur. Is it right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because on those days, the PhD only given by the IIT Kharagpur on the high polymer technology. That was the name.
So can you talk a little bit about how was your PhD at the time? Who was your advisor, and how challenging it was to finish their PhD at the time? There are a lot of changes at the time. You don't have much access to all the literature survey. Now, if you want to do some literature survey, you can just one click away. How you guys did at the time, the PhD?
See, actually, while on those days, as you rightly mentioned, there's no digitization, no sensors and others. I remember while starting my PhD, Professor S.K. Dey and Professor D. Sen was the head of the department, and Professor S.K. Dey was heading about this high polymer and rubber technology. It was under applied chemistry department. On those days, the computers just started, on to get the data and other, we have to punch and the data, and then it takes, even the determination of the cross-link density, we have to use the, takes a lot of time. And even this, to get this, I'm explaining in what, the tough time we had. In IIT, they do not have aerometers, they do not have all those things, because on those days, the most of this research subject was on the basic chemistry. Applied research was very little. So I had to visit the different laboratory in Bombay, that is the Monsanto and the Bayer laboratory, to get those data. Today, the research scholars, they get everything, equipment, facilities, and the computers, so with no time. In our time, several times we have to type our thesis, and we have to reject, correct, and ultimately it takes 6 months time to start for writing the thesis. Today you can go within, let us, couple of weeks. That was the difference.
Yeah. So it was really a challenge times. I always think that, hey, how these guys did PhD at the time, where you don't have access to information. You rightly said about writing, at the time you have typesetter, right? You need to typesetter, and
And not only that, journal search, we have to spend night 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Professor Day was very tough guy. Night 12 o'clock spend the life. And I can assure you, I made an accident while doing my PhD, because two-roll mill, and there is such pressure we have to mix. And this is the thing. We on those days, working for a PhD means, until unless in IIT as a deal, until unless you have a 3 to 5 publication, you cannot submit. And on those days, publications, getting the journal review, search, and etc. All hard copies. There is no soft copies, no computers. So that was very tough. And I can tell you today, all of you are lucky. Those are young guys doing the PhD. With a click, you can get all the informations.
I want to show you some pictures. Maybe you can talk about the significance of that picture. When you're very young, and I actually already found you, how you look like. Okay. Yeah. So what was about this one? Yeah. Is it your master's?
Yeah, this is for graduation in Kharagpur College. I was, let me be very clear, on those days, 18 to, after the schooling, 18 to 20 years. So this is the photograph at that age of 20. And some of it, all the colleagues you might have seen here, out of this one, the left one, Mr. Dubey, left side standing, third or fourth guy. He's in the rubber industry, or most of other people has gone the different field. And this is memory. It is unremarkable, this photo. When I see, I compare what I was and what I am today.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting picture, and gives you a lot of memories. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And
there is one more I have here. This is a very, very interesting picture, and you are in the presence of the Mrs. Indira Gandhi, our past Prime Minister, and of course the legendary woman. Yeah. So what was all occasion about, sir? This one?
Actually, I was, while doing the MSc, I entered in 73. After my graduation, I never spent any time, because since I lost my father, I have to do job earning. So the 5 years, there's a gap. During the 5 years, I did the AMI in chemical engineering. I took a whole opportunity in the IIT chemical engineering department, material science, and also the library. And 1975, this is a memorial year, because I passed the first class first in MSc. And then 1976, there was a convocation, and this in India undergoing the emergency. I know the Indira Gandhi, when she honorable prime ministers, and there's the Hashkar, who is the board of governors of chairman. Beside that, Dr. Siddhartha Shankar Roy, who is the chief minister of West Bengal. All of them came to IIT. I was very much pleased when I see the photograph. I remember those days. During emergency, a lot of commandos are there, and to get a look as close as possible to the Prime Minister of India. It was, I mean, one of the luckiest persons on the students on those days. And this memory still I remember. And this convocation was there in IIT Open Air Theatre when it was at that time 1976. It was inaugurated.
Wow.
And this memory will whole life it will be with me.
Yes, yes, it's really incredible. Yeah. Now, I'm just trying to summarize that you have a degree in BSc in chemistry. You also have a Bachelor of Engineering in Chemical Engineering. You have MSc in Applied Chemistry. You also had done with the LPRI also. Yeah. And now
Yeah,
PhD. So many credentials.
this is
Yeah.
very interesting. LPRI, while doing MSc, we have a rubber board, Mr. M.G. Kumaran. He was also doing the PhD. We used to travel from Kharagpur to Calcutta to attend the LIRI courses. And then the secretary of the IRI was, chairman was D. Banerjee, and the secretary was P.K. Bhattacharya. He's from synthetic chemicals. Every Saturday used to attend by traveling about 120 kilometers, 240 kilometers. But 12 o'clock start and night 12 o'clock used to come. That was the tough job to attend the LRI class at Calcutta. Now, so I know that what hardship we face doing the LIRI. So I try to see that today's students, with the IRI, try to see that they should not get such difficulties.
Yeah. 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 Wow. So your education is all education journey itself is interesting for to learn. I understand that you have some of very, of course there are many people influence your journey, but are some very, I'm talking about some of the key members of these mentors or advisors or philosophers that influence in your life. Maybe you can talk a little bit about your association with them. I will show you the picture, and you can talk about them briefly and how they impacted on your journey as professional as a person. First is Dr. D. Banerjee, the legendary figure, yeah, for the Indian rubber industry.
I am associated with Dr. D. Banerjee when I took the membership IRI in I can say it is the 1973. I took the membership IRI. On those days, it is called not IRI, the Plastics and Rubber Institute, PRI. PRI London was headquarters, and India we have this plastic rubber PRI. India we have a Calcutta, Delhi, Chennai, and Bombay. These are 4 branches. And LRI used to conduct the examination from the PRI UK. So Dr. D. Banerjee, he was the holding all this, pre-independence and onwards. He was the PRI UK associated. When I come in touch with him, and he is one of the inspirators, and he told me, Rabin, my dark name, he told Rabin, you see that at the deathbed, he told me, you look after IRI, it should continue, because 1987, after PRI, demolished, and it has gone to the IOM3, that is the Indian Institute of Mines, Materials and Minerals, and then the 1987 IRI, India was established under the chairmanship of Dr. D. Banerjee, and it has got a wide influence, and he was the dawn of, Indian rubber industry. I always go with him, and that's the reason what we are doing, Dr. D. Banerjee Center of Excellence in honor of Dr. D. Banerjee.
Yeah, we talk more about that center, later on. Okay, so you're really privileged to have associated with them.
Yes.
And there's another gentleman, is Mr. R.R. Pandit. How was your association with them?
Actually, after doing the PhD, the buyer is they took the fresh. So they interviewed me in IIT Kharagpur. At that time, Dr. Somnath Chakrabarti came. I did my PhD, one of the product of buyer that is called BDTM on accelerators and the Valkyrie in reverse resistance. And immediately they selected me. I joined after doing my PhD 1979 January. And my immediate contact is Mr. R.R. Pandit. And he was known as a walking dictionary of rubber technology. And the first job when I do with him, it is called induction effect. I saw him very close in the biotechnical service laboratory in Thane, in Bombay. And he has in the morning he used to come to the office first to go to all journals. So he told me, doctor, first you come 1 hour, you read all the journals and extra, then you start our work. So this induction effect, and he always not only reading himself. He always others to say, myself, Mr. Sridharan, you go to the rubber chemistry technology journals and other. You must know what is happening in and around the world and in India. So I am very lucky. And I spent Bayer about 9.5 years, and he always guided me, mentor, philosopher, special rubber technology training. And he also insisted me to start training for biotechnical training course in Bombay for the tire and non-tire industry. And he's the person who completely translate the Bayer handbook from German to English. And he insisted that to go to the Germany for training myself, Sridharan. That is, see, he knows that the theoretical knowledge is required, but the practical experience is required. That is the reason he insisted me to go to Germany on Bayer. So he's also one of the we can say mentor, philosopher, or hand holding to get the training for the what Indian industry needs.
So we will talk about your experience of training in Bayer later on. How about Dr. D. Sen? Yeah.
Actually, Professor Dishan is no more. He actually, only for him, I able to do from IIT the masters and PhD allowed, because I was at that time faculty to get the permission. So he insisted and met with the director and give me the permission to do higher educations in IIT Kharagpur, because the staff generally they don't allow. He made the special permission. That's the reasons. He is also the what is considering the all education system, whatever has done. Professor Dishan and Professor Day, those are contributed to still today. I am when I used to go to Calcutta, I used to meet Professor Sen as well as Professor Day.
I think that you're talking about Professor Southern Day as well. Yeah.
I want to. Professor Day is very interesting because it was I do not know how many people are aware of it. Professor Day did his PhD from cultivation of science under Professor A.S.R. Palit. And he was after immediately PhD, he came in, I remember the days about 1968 or 69, he joined IIT. On those days, the polymer lab was very little. So after joining, I am come in contact with him. He told Ravin, what you are doing, let us do some research. So, I know the first things he's done, that all the plastics, bottles and other what you do, how they extract, put into the water, solvent, etc. I was carrying out those research, during my MSc. Then he also insisted me to do the metal polymer composite MSc. And he is so much courageous. First, my paper publication from MSc project with the metal rubber polymer composite. And Professor D immediately left for postdoctoral fellow with Mrs. Day. And when he came back, he was told, Rabin, we have to make rubber technology centers. So that is the reasons, the ultimately from applied chemistry. Today, the rubber technology center, he's one of the pioneer under with Professor T. Sen, and then Professor Bhomik and other, we helped him to create a full-fledged center, what it is today. So still I am in touch with the Professor Day. We have a lot of publication with him. And whenever I go to Calcutta, still he remember all those days. And
I always wonder, with talking about Professor Day, he and his wife, Mrs. Day, both are well-known professors. Okay, so just like a doctor family, you like a rubber technologist family at home and office, the same thing.
He's also tough PhD guide. I'm telling you, he don't want. He used to come to the office early in the morning, 7 o'clock, though it is the 9, 7 to night, 11, 12 o'clock. He always the available in the rubber technology centers of those days. Today, after my PhD in high temperature vulcanization of elastomers, the Professor Bhomik also carried out with this. I think so. How many number of PhD created and number of publication. He also put a lot of books he has written. Today, what is rubber technology IIT Kharagpur today? Professor Day is one of the Professor Day and Professor Disen is the man behind it, including plantation of myself when you start the PhD. First, he told me that you go to the rubber board. I spent 3 months in the rubber board in 1975 to see the rubber plantation and rubber industry. Ultimately, we took about 200 odd rubber plants and planted in IIT Kharagpur Agriculture Department. Still, those plants are there. So he was very encouraged and to get the rubber technology education in India.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, remarkable person. Yeah. Dr. Singhania.
And actually, Singhani had it very clear when this very interesting fact. I was in Bayer in Germany on those days. So I saw one advertisements that one of the Indian tire companies looking for establishing the R&D center in India, northern India. They never gave the name. So still to this advertisements in European Rubber Journal it came, as well as Indian Times of India and other papers. So I generally I was in Bayer. I was hesitant whether we will apply or not. So some of my colleagues, including DJ Barucha, what is the wrong? You apply. So I applied, and then there is a interview over 1.5 hours in Delhi. And I just told Dr. Singh the first time the whole Singhania family was there. I told her, I want to join only when it should be a separate R&D institute, not as a process control of so-called R&D. Because on those days, India, what is happening? Most of the technology used to come from in Indian tire industry, as you know, first came the I mentioned about Indian tire industry here. Why? Pre-independence, 1937, your Dunlop Sargans came, 1939, Firestone came. After that, first Indian company, MRF, came in 1950s. And then the 60s came the Goodyear and the Seat. 70s came Apollo, JK, Modi. Then comes about the Vikrant, and then ultimately 90s and onwards, all expansion. And before 90s, all the technology used to come. India, we have a Dunlop multinational, Goodyear, Firestone, all this technology was present. So Dr. Shingan is the first person who told why should not make R&D, make a technology self-reliance. So that is the concept. So I started when I came to know that he will establish R&D center, and I left Bayer and joined in the October 5th of 1987 to start this institute. And he all along, whatever is today in the HASETRI or whatever is under leadership, is guidance. So the practically application, the tire, really speaking, Dr. Singhania's contributions in my life is immense, and still is continuing. He is one of the person in India. He always encouraged to education and training. All our IRI activities, all the conferences, if you look that, always used to encourage, used to come to attend either as a keynote speaker or as a guest and others. So still today, whether IITs and wherever he called, he goes there. So Dr. Singhania, not only that, he has got a first IIT MTech students, he put a RP Singhania, I can tell you frankly, when he got this, they came Philip Award, he told me, Dr. Saab, I don't want money, what will you do? So automatically I told, sir, why not put in the IIT Kharagpur? He first give the gold medal for those are MTech students. So that is he always encourage everyone to increase their knowledge in their life. So that's the way I'm still go about it, supports and guidance what you get today. Still today.
Probably he is the same. How old is he now?
More or less, 76, 77, more or less.
Yeah, same, yeah. So it's nice to know at that age, his vision that having supporting you with the independent R&D center. You're talking about 30 plus years ago, yeah. So
yes. 1987, this 1991, this separate institute is registered under on those days as a TC company, and totally independent, and his also research require his always vision is like this: R&D should be close to a plant. Yeah. So your scientist and engineer should not be only theoretical. He always believe on the applied research.
Fantastic.
And he's also encouraging.
So let's get into a little bit into your earlier career. Okay, you worked for some time at IIT Kharagpur as research officer, then you move into the Bayer. So tell us about how was your experience with the Bayer? Everybody talks about Bayer. If you work, most of the famous people work in the Bayer in earlier career, and that's always like it's like a school for many popular rubber technologists. Did I say that? Okay, so yeah.
See, the Bayer is a good platform to learn the practically, really speaking. Yeah. Why I am very lucky that I joined Bayer in the industry as a whole, because on those days in India, the Bayer, ICI, and the what called the polyolefins. Three is the rubber chemicals. But the people prefer to Bayer because not only they are selling their product, but they give the technical service. And technical service is such a thing until unless you have practical experience, you cannot guide or advise, especially MSME sector. Even the tire industry, I will tell you why our experience is immense because today the basic learning for tire and non-tire industry, it is only possible with the Bayer. And when I joined Bayer, I know that 1979 January in Bombay Technical Service Laboratory. At that time, Dr. Yashan Chakraborty, he was in Germany and he came back. He took the heading, and Mr. R.R. Pandit was there. And then subsequently, Baricha joined. So myself was there. Mr. Sridharan was in the Bayer plant on those days. So he told me, Mr. Pandit told me, Dr. Saab, actually you must go to the Germany. So the 1980, 79, 1 year I learned with Pandit, and 1980 they sent to the Germany. And when I go to the Germany under at that time Dr. Fischer, Dr. Fries, who was a rubber chemical looking, Dr. Kemperman, both these gentlemen used to visit. And they chalk out my training program. Initially, though you are PhD, they told you have to wear a blue color. So the blue collar working days, I worked at the plant. They have like a mini plant. Leverkusen, about 75,000 population. They used to produce all the polymers, all the rubber chemicals, processing aids, the latex, everything was there. And all the rubber product required for them, they used to manufacture in Bayer itself. They have a fantastic pilot plant. I remember they have on those days, when I was training in the mixing area, about 60-liter Banbury, then calendar, extrusion, continuous curing, transfer molding, everything. They every day, 15 days, 1 month, they used to send us. Even the latex, tank lining, carpet baking, everything. And then they send me the Bayer. There are 5, the factory were there. One is the Leverkusen, then the Antwerp in Belgium, then the Brunsbüttel. Then there are 5 different factories, and they send me the Bayer UK also. So they want to put him in India as a technical serviceman until unless you have all the tire as a non-tire experience. For tire, actually, at that time, Bayer Dr. Studgen was there. He was looking about the technical service to know-how given to the Indian tire companies. So India, that time, always biased tires. So they were working with the nylon steel belted radial tires. I'm telling it is 82, 83. And we are developing, and at that time, lot of Indian tire companies, including PK Muhammad, he was also trained in the Bayer. I met him in the Hotel Ramada in Leverkusen. He was there for about 15 days. In the, all Indian tire industry or non-tire industry used to get training in Bayer pilot plant in Leverkusen. So I used to look after any Indian visitors. Generally, they visit. Then this initially we have a 6-month training in 1980. Then we came back to India. Then every year they used to send for a month for Bayer technical training course. And when I was Bayer, as you know, the Bayer is the inventor of Guna, that is the SBR, and as well as polybutadiene. And then they have a research laboratory called the Caustic Anwendungstechniks. There is the rubber research laboratory. And this laboratory, where the aspirin or the polyurethane is developed, I have lucky to work with a lot of researchers, scientists in their Bayer main, they call central, this is the main research laboratory where thousands of scientists are working. And I spent about a month in the research laboratory, and these are how they do research. And it's a fantastic experience. I can tell you those 6 months and every year 1 month training in Bayer, I learned about the total, the application of the rubber chemicals and so on. And then I stopped after coming here about 9.5 years in Bayer. So in that context, I used to visit, when I was Germany, I used to visit along with the Dr. Fries and Dr. Kemperman, some Michelin laboratory and the Goodyear, this Benelux factory in Belgium research laboratory. So I have wider, my outlook has changed. And then we came back to India, we did a project with Mr. R.R. Pandit, myself and Sridharan, with the Modi, with the CEAT, with the Firestone and with the Apollo. So series of projects I did, and with the tire industry, especially antioxidant, accelerator, reverse resistance chemicals, and so on. Then I was posted for about 2.5 to 3 years in Calcutta as a regional technical manager to look after eastern regions. And then after that I joined. So the buyer experience today, what I talked in my lectures with the tire and non-tire, really these basics knowledge I learned from the buyer.
Yeah, I do understand that it gave you a lot of practical knowledge, both tire and non-tire. You said you have 6 months, as training. Can you talk a little bit about structure of the program? You have somebody teaches you for a short time and then let you work in the plant or work with somebody as, and how the training program is structured for you in 6 months, so that maybe the other, the companies in India or some other places, I don't think people are doing any more like that. That much time being spent on the training the young people, practical training. So can you give us some insights about the training program structure at the buyer at that time?
Actually, when I really landed, this is the first time I go from India in 1980s, I remember, to the Frankfurt airport and ultimately the Cologne. And some of my colleagues from when came from Bayer India, he was also training in the commercial. He took me, and then I joined. On those days there's a jet lag, and the next day when I go to Dr. Fries, he sit with me, Dr. Fries and Kemperman, they chalk out the plan for the 6 months. Initially they told, first about the 2 weeks, they told you visit the library, they have a fantastic library, and they told that meet with the people, different laboratory. They have a physical lab, this chemical lab, wet chemistry, dry chemistry, analytical. So I have 15 days each. I want to know what are the laboratories and etc. Then after that, they will Dr. Fries chalk out completely after visiting laboratory that you have to first, now raw materials, you just have a mixing department. So over 15 days, I worked with the Banbury extruder, calendar, and etc. Then after the mixing and the processing department, including they have a latex wing. There also they send me to know that the natural rubber latex, synthetic rubber latex. So then they give a training on the latex carpet backing. Then they send me the adhesive department. So the non-tire everything. When it is the tire and non-tire. So all these things is over. Then it all ultimately maximum time they spend for the tire, because maximum rubber chemicals or going to the tire industry. I spent over the 2 months starting for tire, the mixing of the compound, extrusion, calendar component preparations, and then how the tire to be built and how the tire to be cured. On those days, normally the conventional system was there. So we try to work with the hand, and most of the, they don't allow me as soon as I go, I have to the worker dress and work with those who are working. So then if any problem face, then they have every Friday, they used to keep a discussion what you learned, because there is a 5 days a week. So the Friday they used to discuss what we learned for the last 4 days. Dr. Fries especially reviewed, and I have to send the report to Mr. Pandit what we have learned every month. So that is the way the structure. And ultimately they told, since the Bayer Leverkusen they don't produce everything, then they make a visit of the plant. Saturday, Sunday holidays generally used to go to the different plants there. The next 1 week of each synthetic rubber manufacturer plant they spend. I have seen this polychloroquine, because Bayer manufactures SBR, polychloroquine, nitrile, everything they put. And including on those days that they don't produce the filler and other, but they send me the Degusha for because Bayer used to take the silica filler from Degusha, the Ultrasil VN2, VN3 they used to market. So the silica also they give a complete exposure. What I want to say, they have a plan, because the Bayer is a good, it is not the university curriculum. They have owned their training, how their technical servicemen will be trained and placed in the different parts of the world.
And are they still doing similar format of training?
No, actually what happened, I can tell you, this pilot plant, still it is not there today. And most of the people, they left. Today, new generation has come. And what they are doing today, they are more, the buyer has got a one tendency, if they do not make a profit from a business, they try to generally get away from that business. And that's the reason when they found that other competitors is coming in, etc., they go for a new generation of material like a polyurethanes. Then they go for a thermoplastic elastomers, and also they go for they divided the business units. You might have said the buyer, they convert into the lances, they convert then Erlangso and so on. Why? They face a competition from China. What happened in 2000 onwards, when all these rubbers and other available but competitive price for the Asian countries, generally buyer is not that much, so they've gone for specialized things. So that's the way they have changed. And they have, Rheinchemie. I visited the Mannheim, Spain for Rheinchemie also on those days, because Rheinchemie used to, still today they are giving us all polymer bound antioxidant, all those things. So their business strategy is a little bit different. So they now this pilot plant, they sold it to Iran. So their pilot plant is not available. And but still they have a regional technical service laboratory. Like in Bayer India, they have a fantastic technical service laboratory. When Bayer Germany, they closed more or less such facility. The Bayer India people used to come here. The Bayer India, they started the technical training course, and it was running very well. A lot of people get benefited, those in the rubber industry. And ultimately, non-tire industry, they get a lot of benefit from that. So now today, the other other institutes came. So technical service, it is not that much of business creating. That's the reason they stopped right now. And I came to know recently that Lances again going to start reviving such type of training course in India. In near futures, they will do, the Lances will do the same role the Bayer what he did in the past.
I think, and also think that in the past we don't have much avenues to do the learning like what we have today. There are so many institutes, so many organizations offer training programs. But what is uniqueness about the Bayer program is they really emphasize on the training is important component on the younger people, but giving it time 6 months time to learn all aspects of the process, materials, troubleshooting, you name it, and also you rightly mentioned about 4 days is learn, 5th day is going to be a discussion. So whatever the doubts you have, I think that kind of format is whether it is today or past, it's the same thing. Learning is a process very important, and I think that everybody should follow, whether it is organization small or big. But this kind of training at particularly for younger, you may call it GETs or entry-level people who coming to work in the factory, give the sufficient time to learn, and then expect them more afterwards. A lot of nowadays is like you work today, you hire them today, and next day you expect them to work full-fledged. That there are some people I see the failings as well. Is it right, sir? Is it my comments that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, you are so correct. I can tell you what happened. See, today, why I'm insisting, in rubber industry, generally problem comes and problem goes. Nobody knows why. So because it is a living material, you have a seasonal variations and so on. Still today, you get a rubber industry, you get a scrap, you get a waste, you get a product defective, because we cannot timely not able to solve. Reason I have generally seen, theoretically they have to know. There's summer season you get one problem, winter you get one problem, rainy season you get one problem. If your theoretical knowledge is there, you can address this one. Why there is a blooming, why there is a scorch, why. So what is I after my lot of experience, why I have started the IRI and what is the basic of DBC, I will explain you in the times to come. What I want, theory first is the theory, then is a practice. Theory plus practice is the real rubber technologist. And why it is called rubber technologist? Because you require 50% your science, that is material parts, and 50% in engineering. So that's the reasons in IRI or PGDRI, what we have really doing today, we try to give a part of this experience that those who are working in the industry, the learning while working. So the rubber technology is such a course, only theory will not able to sufficiently cater the needs of the industry. And so the industrial experience plus your theoretical experience both is required.
So after Bayer, you move into the JK. You join
Yes.
as a chief scientist R&D, then you promoted as a vice president of R&D. And then you also holding the position as a director of R&D JK Tire, and at the same time a director for the HASETRI, Harishankar Singhania Elastomer and Tire Research Institute. Is almost like 30 years now. Is it right, sir?
Yeah, 36 years.
36 years. So what was your experiences like in the first, first as a chief scientist?
Yeah. See, I will explain this journey because it is a very good lesson from young generations. When I joined, I was alone in 87, 5th of October. So I first things, I require the people. The people as to whom. So instead of getting the fresh, I try to take, from the plant technical, Mr. or Dr. Arup Chanda. He was in the JK Tire development groups. So I suggest that I should get one or two gentlemen to start with. So Dr. Arup Chanda from the plant has come, and subsequently, Dr. Majumdar, Samir Majumdar is not with me. He was also JK Tire technical department. I take this to Dr. Samir Majumdar. He was an Arup Chanda. They are not doctorate at that time. So when they joined, I had a long discussion. I was to learn from the tire because I was not workable about that much of bias stars and other. I was in buyer looking for. So I used to visit first the plant in the Kankroli. It is about 65 kilometers from Udaipur, and that is a totally lonely place. So I got married, and at that time I took my wife whether she would like to join or not. It is a desert area. So I was there. She likes the common quiet place. So we came in the 87, and then 88, 89 with this, then 87 with these two gentlemen. Then ultimately first recruit is I took from the PhD Professor Bhomik, Dr. A.S. Deuri. So Deuri joined in 88 with me. And after the Dr. Deuri, generally Dr. Chattaraj, he joined, and subsequently I've got 4 groups. We started how to go at R&D and etc. So generally we list out equipment, and luckily before doing the R&D, our chairman, our Dr. Singhania told me, doctor, you must visit to the General Tires. So I went in 1988 General Tires in USA with the team of Mr. Mishra, Mr. Kanjolia. We have visited General Tires. 3 plants was there: Mount Vernon and the Mayfield and the Akron. All those 3 plants, I was there. I see that what is the R&D. And first I came across with Dr. Sundarlal Agarwal, who is the director of R&D of General Tires. So I've seen their infrastructure and etc. So I came back. Then we have a marathon meeting with our chairman, and 7 days with Dr. Sundarlal Agarwal. What should be the R&D? And what should the technology? That's the we have done how to go ahead, and we make a 87, 88 we make a papers. There's a paper what way we should go, and what are the people requirement, what are the investment requirement. We planned, and 1991 we total plan. I tried start executing that one. By that time, I have got a couple of people, Majumdar, Chanda, and the Dr. Deuri, Dr. Chatraj, and ultimately we take, and subsequently 90s and onward, Dr. Saikat Das Gupta, some more gradually they joined. I try to build up the people. And most of the people what I joined here itself, they are either BTech or MTech. They used to come from either from Calcutta or from Cochin, and keeping those people in tire industry is a problem. So first I have started how to develop the local people. So I have started a course in MSc in Polymer Science Diploma in Udaipur University, and that is in 1992. So local people I try to develop. My aim was also without people, whatever investment you cannot do. So sure. Then 92, 93 onwards, I visited different equipment manufacturers, like analytical equipment, parking Elmers and different. So how to procure all those equipment? So in 94, the 94, 95, we have a complete plan how we go next 20 years. Today, what you have seen, the HASETRI, is the plan was made in 1995. I realize on those time, these are the things are required. And gradually as the fund comes, and, or Dr. Shingana helped me about the what total, he committed me total turnover, certain percentages investment for R&D. And all these guys, not only then all these are scientists, whether Arup Chanda, Dr. Deuri, everybody, or then PC Vora is joined with on the design section for APA group. All of them has sent to Continental for training from 15 days to 1 month. That exposures. So that exposure of all this background. So we have gradually started from the material chemistry to the material physics. Then we have a tire testing equipments. And in the meantime, I also try to get certain fund from the World Bank, interest-free loan. That also I acquired to establish the HASETRI for establishing tire testing initially. But today, I can see the whatever dream I had, I'm able to fulfill. And by the parallelly, what we have done, we require the diploma or other people. So I used to get the Udapur University diploma. Today, they are doing an excellent job. And that course is now 2 years MSc Polymer Science. And we also make a center of excellence in Udaipur after getting the conference money. So my questions today, these all experiences, what you have to establish the R&D, all my teammates along with me build up to. And still, also I told my scientists, whatever you have BTech and MTech, you try to register for a PhD program. And Udaipur University, we have got a PhD. Arup Chanda is the first PhD under Professor Bhumika IIT Kharagpur. Then we have, the Chatraj from IIT Kharagpur. Then I have a Shaikat, Samar, all these gentlemen from Udaipur University. Then ultimately we got IIT Chennai and Calcutta University and so on. So I also, all along life, I encourage my people to develop. And I always tell the young generation, knowledge what you have, please share. More you share, more you learn. That is my philosophy in my life. Yes.
We will talk more about the PhD people from HASETRI and how they moved on later on. I want to ask you here that you've been a director of R&D since 2001 for the JK Tire, at the same time also director of HASETRI. What kind of technology innovations are happening in the tire industry right now? Of course, a lot been talked about EVs, okay, and tires for electric vehicles, and now also a lot of things on the sustainable materials and for the sustainability of the tire industry itself. So, can you talk more in little details about the innovations at where is HASETRI or the JK Tire in terms of the R&D side, please?
Today, if you look into the tire cost, about 65 to 75% is the material cost. And these material mostly are petrol-based. And actually, today, still we are a crude-based economy. And the crude-based economy was developed the first industrial revolution when Earth housed only 1 billion people. Today, with our 7.8 billion people, and with the linear economy, there's take, make, throw, and take, make, use, and throw. This economy is not going to persist. All of you are aware what is actually happening. There are the challenges to the industry today. Until unless our mother plant survive, we cannot survive. And the survival of our mother plant depends on the, really speaking, the flora, fauna, the waters, and the energy, all those things is required. And today, this crude-based economy, what we are left for our future generations? From the 2006, I do not know, whatever the international conference I attended, I tried to talk about the sustainability and the circular economy. And I'm happy that today people realize that, yes, it is the need of the hour. How much all the innovation, let us consider what all the innovation leads to with the tire industry or everywhere. Number one is the sustainability. Now, what is sustainability? Common feature. Sustainability is you have to address the three corners of a triangle. One is the economics, that is the business should be survive, that is economically viable. Then whatever we do, that is, it should be environmental friendly. It should not less impact. Third thing is the society. That means what you are doing, are these businesses creating employment for the society, or the society, without hampering the society wherever your factory is. That means economic aspect, environmental aspect, and society aspect. In a nutshell, I'm telling all R&D, especially rubber and tire industry, should be based on called the decoupling technology. What is decoupling technology? That means the industry has to grow, country has to grow, GDP has to grow. That means economic growth should be delinked or decoupled with the resource consumption. That means you have to produce more with less material and produce more with a environmental friendly material. That means two aspects. One is the economic growth should be decoupled with the resource consumption. The more you produce, more resource required. That concept has to be changed. Second is the decouple the growth with the environmental impact. That means whenever the product is in the drawing board, the young design engineer, they must consider whatever materials, whatever design I'm doing, is it environmental friendly? Is the material input is low energy content? Suppose if you use more natural rubber, synthetic rubber, one natural rubber per ton of natural rubber you take 10 gigajoules energy, whereas per ton of synthetic rubber you get 120 gigajoules. So more you use your natural rubber, and natural rubber derivative is more environmental friendly. So these are the concepts young people must know. So natural rubber is a sustainable material. Similarly, other sustainable, when you say that the crude-based material, how can today the crude refinery, tomorrow it will be biorefinery. That means energy has got the two different sources. One is the plant and is the animal. Now all young scientists, all research has to consider how can we manufacture, or how we can innovate to get certain monomer from the plant origin. You might have, most of us are aware of it. Some of the leading, like Lances, they have already a lot of monomers they get from the plants. So tomorrow, what is actually happening? All chemists has to develop the material which is low energy content, environmental friendly, not only during production, but during it will be when it will use for the tire and rubber industry. They should not liberate less greenhouse gas toxic material. So the all research innovation is also material part. Material will be the nucleus of all the innovations. So the next lot of PhD, lot of papers publication is coming. We say even your valuation of the company depends on the what is your sustainability index. How much percentage of your material is sustainable, recyclable. So all those things, that is, one is the green economy, circular economy, green economy, and sustainability. Sustainability is umbrella. Circular economy is the nothing but it is the creating waste to the wealth. That means your generation of waste has to be as minimum as possible during the processing stage, and during the product stage, the performance should be more environmental friendly. Now, the low rolling resistance, better safety, weight and dry tractions, and less noise. So these are the certain fields under which the lot of research is going on. It is a very difficult task, but not impossible.
I want to ask you here that, so it's not just India is doing research. All over the world, the research is happening, whether it is in Europe or in the US or China or other Japanese and countries. How do you rate the quality of research happening in India compared with other, developed economies in terms of the tire or the rubber research? What is your opinion? Because we produce, so I think probably we are the largest producer of rubber technologists. I think maybe more, maybe somebody else as well. But what is your opinion, sir?
Here, actually, what is the difference I can say, or area for improvement for Indian scientists or technologists? because you look into US or Europe, even in China, their research model is they involve there is a involvement of the university or institutes, the government and the industry. So generally this type of research requires a lot of funds. The industry should come forward, especially industry or industry association, and government should make certain policy so that such type of certain incentives should be given. So actually this is the area we are improving, a lot of scope for that, because industry's involvement with the university institute is not that much as it is in US and your developed countries, including Korea and Japan. So the now industry has realized, I can tell you our JKTR, what we have done from 2000, let us 4 and onwards, we have established a center of excellence in IIT Chennai for the vehicle dynamics. Professor Krishna Kumar is working, and we are spending a lot of money for there because knowledge is there in university and institutes, and your skill is in the industry. Both has to join hands to develop the technology. The way Indian pharmaceutical industry is doing excellent job, because the molecule they develop, they have a pilot plant, they get trial, and you see we are one of the leaders in the pharmaceutical exports and other. Similarly, the other IT sector. So here, what is actually tire industry or rubber industry is coming forward. A lot of now interaction is happening with the different university institutes, including the multinational company, entire industry. They did a lot of project in the basics science. They put it to the university institutes, and they take the knowledge from it and they convert it into the product performance. That's the way this is going on. India is also gradually coming up. Government of India is taking drastic step now. They are all CSIR laboratory under DST. There are a lot of things they are considering how they can interact with the industry to make it. So these things are going, and if you see today in India, number of patent, number of publication earlier it was not there. We are now a third or a fourth, third, especially the total publication is considering total number of PhD or engineer. We are one of the top. So things are changing, and we are hope this decade a lot of development is coming in India. Recently there was a summit by the ATMA with the different raw material suppliers, our OEM in India, and OEM they comment that Indian tire industry is able to provide us the tires and other our components as per the requirement of the OEM. So there is a great, and I can tell you the young generation to come forward, going for the applied research, especially people are very much looked for the IT and other, but rubber and polymer, this material is going to stay for a long time, and there is a great future for this industry.
Yeah, I think you rightly mentioned about the collaborative efforts between industry and university. At the same time, industry to industry too. Rubber industry is one industry that they don't share much information, among each other. That's also slows down the growth compared to if you look in other industries. There is a lot of industry to industry exchange of information and collaborative efforts between each other. I think these efforts will bring the much more faster improvements in our industry in India or in other places as well.
Actually, China also, you might have, this model is working very nicely. I know I was in Chandao, I found that how the government policy plus the industry and and the university, that triangle should work. That triangle, if it work, automatically you get a the technology development or a lot of innovation will come into these pictures. Even today, you might have seen that one, how the multinational companies, they are joining hands with the raw material suppliers to produce the environmental friendly product. And that's the things in India. Yes, as you rightly mentioned, we are in a close, but people are realizing the knowledge has no boundary. For common knowledge, we must join hands together. Why not with the competitors as well.
I want to show you one picture. Actually, I want to talk about it during the Bayer speech, but I missed it. Okay, yeah. It looks like A pretty old picture when you were the buyer, yeah. Probably some of your friends here. This is you, yeah.
Yeah, actually, this is a picture of 1980 in the Calcutta, the Grand Hotel. We have a conference where the Bayer India managing directors is there, then the Nurani is there side by. Mr. Nurani, he was looking after him. And actually, some of my colleagues, as you know, if the left-hand side, if you looked into that, Mr. Dalal, he's Mr. Dalal. And then third one is the Mr. Janakar.
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
K.J. Janakar, you might have seen the 1980 picture, Mr. P. Sridharan, Mr. P. Sridharan, then Mr. Bhalla, and Mr. P.K. Chatterjee, might have seen. And then next, then the Tarafdar actually is not in industry now. Then myself is there. And then, you can see that they're sitting in the corner, Mr. D.J. Barucha. Left hand, yeah, right hand side,
Right,
hand side,
right hands. Yeah.
Mr.
Okay,
DJ
that's
Barucha.
Baruch.
Then by the side, Mr. Munshi, then Mr. Nurani, then Mr. I think so, Mr. The managing director, I forgot his name now, he's a Bayer India, and then Mr. R.R. Pandit. You might have seen this 1980. Then Mr. Mehra, still they are there. So these are all colleagues, and as you know, how the Bayer is good platform. Mr. Janakar is a chairman of IRI Chennai branch. Mr. P.K. Chatterjee is the chairman of Delhi branch. Mr. P.K. Sridharan, he's also still active in IRI activities. So Bayer is a platform who really, what you consider, accelerate the IRI activities in India.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your extensive journey with IRI, Indian Rubber Institute. You've been chairman for IRI for more than 12 years now. Is it right, sir? Yeah.
These are more than 12 years, yes, you're correct.
Yeah. So, but before that, you've been actively involved under the Rajasthan branch as well, chair for the Rajasthan branch. Yeah.
Actually, as I told you, I took the membership in the IRI while doing my MSc in IIT Kharagpur, and that is in 1973. And from that time, really, I did about the 76, the LPRI. And then when I joined the Bayer, I was really looking after the educational activities in Bombay, since our laboratory, technical service laboratory is in Bombay, Thane. So in IRMRA and synthetic chemicals, we used to go take the lectures along with Mr. Pandit, myself, and Sridharan. So I was actively active in Bombay branch. Then when we went to the Calcutta in 1984 to 87, 3 years I was in Calcutta as a regional technical manager. I was a secretary of IRI Calcutta branch. At that time, I closely worked with the Dr. D. Banerjee, Dr. D. Ghosh, and Bengal Waterman, and then P.K. Bhattacharya, then ICICI, D.K. Chatterjee was there, Mr. Abani Bhattacharya. Then I met Mr. Akhuri there. And then 87, we have consolidated that IRI, because I was in the first committee of Indian Rubber Institute registered. Earlier it was PRI in Calcutta Society Act 1987. And then we conducted the conference there with the IRIs, generate certain fund. Then when I came to JK, then what I did, first thing 87, I told you previously, that we started the IRI activity in Rajasthan branch. So that we have Dr. Actually, that photograph is not there. Dr. D. Banerjee, all the way he came to our Kakroli, along with Dr. Singhania, 1988 of 20th of November, 19th of November. Yes, this is a really a picture. You can see that one. Actually, Dr. D. Banerjee came all the way. We have planned to arrange to take him from Delhi to our private plane to the, along with Singhania, Mr. Sethi, and all this came there in our Kankroli, the radial club in front of, we have inaugurated the IRI Rajasthan branch. So that was the encouragement from our chairman, Dr. D. Banerjee came and stayed there, and he initiated not only the IRI Rajasthan branch, then we go to the another center in our Banmore tire plant, also we created the Gwalior center. So that is the way how the IRI activities spread in 1988 onwards. Then we have, earlier 4 branches was there. Then we have a lot of other branches gradually came beside Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, and Chennai. And then Rajasthan. Then we have a Karnataka branch came into the pictures. Then we have these Baroda branch in Gujarat. So we have now 8 branch. And then, the all branches has came. Then we have a series of conferences. So when Dr. D. Banerjee in the day where he told me, so I realized that, I was listening his last word, that we have to do something for IRI. So 2015, when we have a IR RubberCon at Chennai in governing council meeting, I put up the proposal for the Dr. D. Banerjee Center of Excellence to create. And then at the time, decision was taken where it will be, because wherever university will give a place. We tried in Calcutta University, Salt Lake, didn't get. We tried with MIT Madras. Then ultimately, when I came to Mysore, then I told, 2006, myself and Mr. Mishra met with the Mysore JSS Mahavidyapita, and they have 2016 allotted land and about half acre. And there we have put up. Now you can see that all the efforts of our different conferences, whatever money we have generated and other. Today we have a 36,000 square feet building has come, and we have amphitheaters, and here we have a the process lab, plus we have a trial testing laboratory, plus we have analytical lab, the wet chemistry, dry chemistry, rheological lab, reinforcement lab, physical lab. We have with an auditorium of 250 people sitting arrangement, and the 3 classrooms. So all this arrangement is now ready. We are expecting that inaugurate this by the last quarter of this year, because due to the COVID, our project has delayed about 2.5 years, and total project cost is close to about the 50 crores, out of which about 20 crores able to spend by collected for the donation. And here I can really mention first gentleman who came forward of the donation is Mr. Gulani, and followed by the other people like Mr. Lathia from Lathia Rubber, Mr. Pokraj, Mr. Masan, and Technoworks. All these gentlemen came forward to do that, and all the rubber fraternity support globally, and even the IRCO people, they appreciate, because there is no such center available by the any rubber association in the world. So the voluntarily people donating, and this will be our aim. Our vision for this center is like this. I have seen all the rubber technology education in India since I was a faculty, and when I was in the as a JK, I'm a National Academy of Engineers member as a fellow member. So from their side, we visited, and I act as adjunct professor for the different institute. I found that there is a lacuna, is a practical training, hands-on training is lacking. The theoretical is excellent, and they have to depend to the industry. So my vision is our vision is like this. This center will come up. We'll invite all the universities, at least summer vacation, winter vacation, they spend time in DBCOE to have a hands-on experience. And this place of Mysore, we have a tire company, non-tire company. So a lot of, and it is close to the all southern states. And Chennai is the Detroit of India automobile industry. So we are considering the Mysore should be the nodal center of rubber technology education, practical education in near futures. Not only in India, we have also signed an agreement with the PRI Sri Lanka, Plastic Rubber Institute Sri Lanka, and we also exchange the faculty program training courses they come. We had Malaysia also, we are talking each other. I want the rubber technology education all over the world is sinking, except in India. Wherever you go, you get the rubber technology from India. Here, I want Asia Pacific region, they should act as a nodal center. And if my vision is bigger than this, tomorrow if required DBC, we can make as a National College of Rubber Technology like UK what it was. People must come here for education near future from the not only our SAARC country, but ASEAN countries, including the developed countries. That was our vision to make, show that the rubber technology should survive, and it cannot survive without the proper education.
Yeah, it is very important to have a practical training center, I think, which is lacking. I think you rightly mentioned that uh, not just for India, it's a regional center for the whole rubber fraternity. That really. So, how is the progress? It's work in progress, I guess. Industry is supporting a lot. I personally saw the recent IRC 2022, which was hosted by IRI. I see a lot of contributions from the industry to support the DBCOE. So, I believe this is your mission, only mission left, I guess, to
Me
complete.
actually say I am strong because today the people development is most important. Rubber industry people development generally I want the reduce the gestation periods. Today if you take a BTech at least 2 years you have to give a time for training in the industry. We want if the gate I have also associated with the skill development or National Skill Development Council. Now under which the rubber sector is there, Government of India. I was in the board, so we have developed the national occupational standard. Anybody can go to the website www RSDC, that RPSDC. So now there about this is the second or third in the world to have a national occupational standard for our industry, which is available in the website, starting from the millman to the Banbury fitter operator, different level. All the standard is available. What should be the technical knowledge is required, what is theoretical knowledge is required, what is the computer knowledge is required. Accordingly, we ultimately what we are planning for the DBCOE, we will try to give the Bachelor of Vocational Training in Rubber Technology. That means industry people, they can come and spend for a few months every year, and when they complete the number of hours or modules, automatically they get the diploma. The Bachelor of Vocational Training, that we have already after establishment of this, maybe next year or onwards we may start such type of degree course, BVOC and MVOC, through the DBCOE and the JSS Institute of Science and Technology collaboration. This is my last things to do, that at least people those who are working in the industry, due to their financial constraint, they're not able to get the graduations or masters PhD, so that even they are those who are those who are willing to do further education, they have a chance to do this, because this type of model is working in Germany. That is the DIK or DKT they are providing in Hanover. So I was thinking that how these people, those who are working in the supervisory or below manager level, those who are really working on hand, and in this, beside all the training, DBCO, we also have a place for the data analytic laboratory. And as soon as fund will come, we'll try to do that. And we are actually industry supporting, raw material supply supporting, multinational companies are supporting, including tire and non-tire. But as you know, since we lost there were 2.5 to 3 years due to COVID, we have to make up shortly, and maybe end of this quarter, end of this year, we'll able to start this DBC activity in full swing. But nevertheless, we are doing about 200 odd peoples every Sunday. Generally, about 10 months, we provide the theoretical training, and ultimately, they come all the other national crash course. So we are doing activity at a little bit limited level, and it will be increased when this center will be ready.
Yeah, I think it's a really good addition for the IRI to having the DBCOE. You really get full-fledged training, not only theory but also practice. That's what is the need of our now. Yeah, I'm going to show you some pictures that your association at the IRI. Maybe you can talk few words about it. Here is the first one is you see all your colleagues, the legends of Indian rubber industry. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. This is all Indian Rubber Institute. You see the Dr. D. Banerjee, D. Bose, Manubhai Patel, and Mr. Dr. Chakrabarti, Jakaria George, Mr. Akbari, and Dr. Mathan and B. Datta. They are all veterans. Janakar, P.K. Mohammed Mishra, P.K. Chatterjee, Barucha. These are all veterans in the rubber industry, but they all always full-fledged. They're supporting, with the leadership of Dr. D. Banerjee. And I can tell you the credit goes to those who have started this activity. And generally we are, and also we are trying to our next generation. You might have seen the young generation in the third row, Dr. Banerjee, and then Vasudev Rao, all are coming. They are really hands on hands. They are working, and we are trying to see that some of the what I can say young generation. We are encouraging them, especially the Dr. Shamor and Basu is taking a great initiative with the help of the all 8 branches to continue such activity, and gradually you have to hand over torch to the young generation. That's the way we are looking, and I suggest all of you, those young generation, to come forward to continue this activity for near futures.
I think it's a really good blend of the experience. I mean, everybody's experience anyway, but seniors and juniors or senior citizens of the rubber industry. Yeah. Okay, we talked about already this one. Okay, here is the council. I think these are the who really engage in the decision-making process of the IRI, right? Yeah, otherwise some are missing, I guess, in this picture.
Then somewhere is there. You can see that right-hand side standing with a mask.
Some other council members also. There are Dr. Rani Joseph is missing in this picture also. Yeah. So
actually, Dr. Rani Joseph, she is not there because we conduct this one of the meeting in Mysore. So all our 8 branches representative was here, including you can see the PK Muhammad, Mr. Mishra, Mehul, Jagashia, Shamor, everybody is present here itself. So we want because the next month we are planning to go another governing council meeting. Let us see. I expect all of you will come and visually they see the progress of the DBSU.
I think this is an arrangement, collaborations with international organizations like Plastics and Rubber Institute Sri Lanka, right? So, so how is the collaborations with international organizations?
See, we are first and foremost. I would gladly like to convey to my colleagues. We are the in Asia Pacific regions. Really, we are the technical affiliates of ACS Rubber Division. About 250 odd members are from Indian rubber fraternity. They're member of ACS Rubber Division. We have great collaborations with the ACS Rubber Division. Generally, Mehul is now our area director. He's taking out all the necessary help and knowledge sharing is happening, and they are also providing certain things with the minimum people. Those who are member of IRI, they can get the membership with a very 1/4 of the charge of the ACS Rubber Division. So then we are also associated with, as you know, the International Rubber Conference Organization, IRCO, headquarters in UK. Dr. Matthew Trunton and is the Secretary General. India represent also as a country, about 20 odd countries are member. So any rubber conference, IRC or RubberCon, generally they affiliate under the affiliation of IRCO we are conducting. And then we are also associated with the rubber board, and especially we have an agreement with them, and also different universities. IIT Kharagpur, they are rubber training center. They are control of examination of PGDR, DRI, and PRI Sri Lanka. Generally, we have conducted series of. They also provided the diploma courses, but we special courses. We are now every year we conduct some program either in Sri Lanka or that people comes to India, and very good collaboration is going on. And in Malaysia recently in IRC 2022, they are interested to see that because everybody is also offering their certain diploma. So we have a plan. What PRI UK used to do, whether IRI can take that role to binding this all our this country in this region, because you know that ANRPC, the National Rubber Producing Countries, is here, that 11 or 12 members. So whether all the natural rubber producing countries join hands with the common training, and then we can, because rubber industry is looking at this part, most of the manufacturing in the near future, they will be this part of the world. And that require a lot of rubber technologists and lot of such type of facility like IRI, PRI, Sri Lanka or Malaysia, they are doing, that has to grow.
Okay, one of the highlights of your journey is hosting many IRC events and also IRI events, which are IRC, RubberCon, and also Asia Rubber Tech, and you've been the chairman for all these events. How did you manage it? I think you are the only person in the whole world who have a host being a chairman for these, series of events. Usually one event as one edition or second edition, new guy will come as a chairman. But you've been for so many events. So how you are managing, sir? What was the lessons you learned out of these events, hosting events?
See, I would like to clarify here this type of things, I learned from the Professor SKD. When I was IIT Kharagpur, when I came from Germany, 1981, first conference in IIT's did. Then 1984, he did a conference in Jamshedpur. Then we have I was not the chairman, a member. Then 1987, we did in Calcutta as a secretary. Then 1993, the first conference when the professor Dr. Somnath Chakraborty was there in Delhi. We had a first conferences. But 1998 and onwards, the conferences, we have a 1998 at Chennai, 2000 we make it Delhi, 2002 we make it Delhi, 2004 we did at Mysore, 2006 in Kerala, Cochin, and 2007 at Udaipur, and 2010 we have a first IRC full-fledged we have done in Bombay. Then 2015 we did RubberCon in Chennai, and 2020, which is allotted now due to COVID, has gone 2022. So the question, it is not me, it is the whole team. That is very clear. Mr. P.K. Mohammed, Mr. B.K. Mishra, generally they came in the early 2000, joined in IRI. And PK, after joining 2006 at the Kochi, is a great conference. And this we can consider, people call us a 3M, that Mukhopadhyay, Mishra, and Mohammed. All these three, we are all veteran. We have decided that our industry gave us a lot. So we must do something for the rubber industry. And at this age, with the help of other young generations like Vasudev Rao and Samod, and initially Mr. Akhori was there, but due to the age, he is not there. Now today, Dr. D. Banerjee, D. Bose, Mehul, Manu Bhai, whatever they have given us, what is considered advice or training, and we took it forward. And we found that if we are not able to establish, those are in the top of the tire industry, it is very difficult for young generation near future to do that. So that's our all energy, encouragement, whatever you do that. And we insisted, IRCO, that we allot to India. We tried to see that 2010 they have given, 2015, 2020, 2020, 22, there's no allotment. But the Brazil withdraw, and they know that India is doing a good job, they have given to 2022. Now again they have given me 2025 RubberCon, and which will held at Chennai, and by 2031 generally we are bidding for IRC. So why you do this conference, what the encouragement? Because the fund or surplus money generated, because such type of without government help to make this about what I consider 500 million Indian rupees, and which is about the 50 million US dollar, whatever it may be. Such type of investment to make, is a huge this thing. So the conference is only one of the revenue where you can interacting with the people, surplus fund, and also involving the young generation, to submit the research papers, posters, and etc., and create an interest for the young generation to come to the rubber industry. And then you ask me from where you get. Let me be very clear. Someone has to be in the driver's seat, and so we try to see that if the team is with you, the driver has no problem. So we are continuing with this.
Fantastic. Okay. Right words. Definitely, you have a fantastic team. 3 M's as it reflects itself. Muhammad, Mishra, and Mukhopadhyay. So it's a really wonderful combination. At the same time, with all the younger generations, all the chapters also active role, right? IRI chapters, each chapter put a real effort. Their chairman, the secretaries, their committee members, governing council, you know, when you wanted to put this DBCOE project into a real, you know, a real deal for the industry, for the benefit of the younger generation, the future for the industry itself, this kind of events really important. At the same time, it brings the quality researchers together, you know, all high quality, high standard, and this is what industry needs to know, you know, and so there are a lot of information exchange, technology exchange, conversations, collaborations, and probably investments, ventures as well. So hosting events, any event, whether it's small or big, whether it's RubberCon or IRC or even the chapter-wise event, it's good for the industry overall. I mean, that's my, you know, even Technobiz also hosts a lot of events. It's not just only generating income, but it's a more important is it become a driving, you know, it's a catalyst. It's a catalyst for the, you know, industry. Yeah? So
Actually, beside 3M, I can tell you the other old generation, Mr. Janakar, Mr. Chatterjee, Mehul, he's in ACS, he's being very quite active. So all the branches is supporting because headquarters only run with the branch supports, and whatever the even they support us certain fund they have to create this one. You know, it is a huge task, and I am getting support from all rubber fraternity, not only in India and as well as in from abroad.
I think, and also I see the recent is one of the nice pictures I've seen. I see the IRCO committee, yeah, all together supporting you with the IRC 2022 in Bangalore. Yeah.
And this is a memorial event, and they realized, you know, as they come, they found that the India is changing a lot. So I want, when you do the conference, you can project not only for IRI, project your country.
Yeah, I think that the events also become ambassadors of promoting the country.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So
that's true.
Fantastic. Okay, let's a little bit getting into the, you know, into the your other activities, particularly with HASETRI. You know, I want to show you one picture. Maybe you can explain about, you know, it looks like all the top quality technocrats here on the tire technology here. So what's all about here?
Yeah, actually, what happened, you know, in India, the collaboration of multinational company exists from the inception of the tire industry in India. Whether it is the MRF to latest one, whoever they got the collaboration. Now, this is the part where the general tires, you know, they are a collaboration of India with the Apollo and JK and all those things. So whatever may be the cases, so this training, what you saw the pictures, uh, this picture is in the, we were attending, and we know that Tire Tech in the Akron. It started from 1992 from the Harold Hertzlis, and I was attending all this in every alternate year. Most of the ITech I attended, and one of these ITech, the technical training course for general tires that are affiliated all over the globe used to come, including India, the Apollo JK. You might have seen standing in the left, second man is my photograph, and behind that, yes, the behind that, you know, when the PK Muhammad, how he was at the time. So he was in Apollo. So you can must see that one. This is a group, even the General Tire Pakistan, General Tire Brazil, everyone was attending. This is the knowledge sharing among the international people, and it was a great opportunity. That way, I can tell you, General Tires, then they took over by Continental. They have a very good, like a buyer, General Tire, they help the Indian tire industry today. Whether is a Tom Thomas or there Mr. P.K. Muhammad, myself, Mr. Mishra, all are trained in their different plants, their different interval, not only for as a technical partner. And this is one picture, so you might say that when the Continental took over General Tires, right hand side is Dr. Oker, who is the technical director of Continental, General Tire Continental. And left hand side is the O'Neill, and he is also from General Tires. So these are certain rare pictures I kept as a memory. Whatever the training I get different level. And this is one of the photograph where I attended the ITech and Hertzlis, Harold Hertzlis, who is the founder of, he's like you, the Technobiz, he's the founder of the, you know, ITech in Akron. What is now, it is the world show. and I used to attend. And this is also a very good learning platform for what is happening latest in US entire. As you know that these are the all the technology development initially with the US and European pass on to the other countries.
And I want to get onto the, you've been assigned as a chairman for the Indian Rubber Manufacturers Research Association. I will call it shortly IRMRA. I think since when you become the chairman, sir?
Actually, last May, generally the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, generally they appoint for 3 years. The technocrat or anybody, there are a lot of other chairmen from they started from KM Philip. They were the president, no, not the chairman, he's the president of IRMRA. And most of the tire industry done, whether our Dr. Singhania, the Niraj Onkar Kanwar, everybody, they were the past president. So when they took me, I accepted that one because this is also the IRMR started from 50s. Now they have a 3 centers. So one is in Thane, Kolset Road, another is in Calcutta, third is the Sri City in the Andhra Pradesh and Chennai border. Fourth, I am training in Delhi to create. IRMR is, they are really basically helping the MSME sectors in our industry through technology development. And they also engaged in the different defense project, and also the legislation regulation which is coming in the tire industry. They have geared up their laboratory. I am also encouraging them to show that the testing should be they able to do. The few laboratory in India is recognized. One IRM is one of them. Beside Automotive Research Association of India, Pune, the ICAT in Gurgaon, and so and CIRT. So these are the government, either different ministry, they will entitled to give the certification for the tire leveling as well as the ECR 117 equivalent to EIS 142, the automotive Indian standard. So I'm pushing them. We are meeting with the Minister of Industry Commerce to self-sufficiency, especially the government laboratory, to provide the service to the tire industry. Okay, and this is for 10 years.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised and also inspired that you've been chairman of IRI, you've been now president of the IRMRA, you are a director of HASETRI, you're R&D director. How many hours you work a day, sir?
Actually, the working, how you plan, it is very clear. And the 24 hours is the day, and so if you plan properly, and you have to only delegate. Until unless you delegate, you cannot do your work. So the question is, you have to take your right and left hand people, especially if you have efficient secretary. My secretary says is quite efficient enough. So he is also helping me, and as well as IRI matter, Dr. Shamar and Mr. Basudev Rao is there, and IRI matter, Dr. Rajkumar is there. Only you have to guide them. Things are going on, and I always believe that delegating or empowering your lot on the people. It is not necessarily. It is, in my belief, it is easy to create a organization, but ultimately to run the organization is more important. So how you prepare your people, they will run the organization in your futures.
I mean, it's very important to delegate and empowering the next level people so that they move forward. And but you are taking very important roles of two prestigious organizations, IRI and IRMRA, and also private sector side and on the JK Tire and also HASETRI. I'm going to show you HASETRI. This. Can you talk of highlights about you guys used to be somewhere else and moved to the Mysore, right? Yeah. So this is a fantastic facility. Yeah. So can you talk highlight about this HASETRI place?
Yeah. As I told you that the seed was only 1991 you registered, and at the time in Kakroli, the new building, that building photograph not here, but these. What I want, then we have other two centers, as the IIT Chennai, and we have a Faridabad. So we have 4 wings. One is the materials and compound related development, then the process development, then we have a finite element analysis and the predictive technology. Then we have a tire testing, evolution, indoor and outdoor. So all the four things under one umbrella. We thought that we are spread all over India, and we require, as the demand for the automobile industry is increasing, we require a full-fledged technology center. And JKT generally, they started with one factory. Now today about 12 factories globally, and the 9 locations. What is happening, 5 India, and the Tornell in Mexico, 3 plants, and here we have 9 plants. So we have a global technology centers where you have a HASETRI, and as well as global R&D technology centers is also here. It is about 1 lakh square feet, and about we have about 230 odd people are here itself. So the question is today, why shifting in Mysore? It is the weather-wise, climate-wise, and other facilities equally available, and it is proximity to the all other southern state, like Chennai, or the rubber growing the Kerala, or if you can say Hyderabad or EP. So it is Bangalore is the nearest Silicon Valley of India. With all this respect, the Mysore is the best place. Our people, all our the team has a decision. So we shifted here 2017, and this is now the 6th year is running. And we have, you have to grow, you require bigger space. So that is one of the reasons. And also, I have settled in Mysore, and now DBCS is coming. So there is a no return life. You can work with the whole life as you survive. So my questions today is very important. Where there is a will, there is a way. So you can wait.
I think Mysore is going to be a Indian rubber city. Yeah? It's like an Akron type, kind of all the manufacturers, universities are there, testing centers are there. Is this how you're projecting as an Akron of India?
It will be the nodal center of rubber industry in India, especially the research and technology development. At the PK Mohammed, myself, Mr. Mishra decided what we can, the MSME require the technology development. So DBC will be not only for the training, the future technology development. Today, the material will change. That is very clear, as I told you, with the environmental friendly material to get the tire industry, rubber industry, addressing the safety and durability, all this aspect. It took a lot of research and innovation. So the DBC will act on that. That is our plan in future for technology development. DBC should take an important role.
And I think let's look into the Skill India. Indian government has brought that, the RSDC, Rubber Skill Development Council, right? And I think you've been very active in that programs as well. And I see that you have received an award on that aspect also, right? Yes. For the HASETRI,
yeah. Actually, National Skill Development Council, the concept started in India 2009. But after that, it was 2014 and onwards. This government is giving, because if you want to make an India manufacturing hub, you require a skilled people. And we have a 30 odd sector was identified, out of which rubber is one of them, and the service sector, everything is included. Rubber sector now, rubber, they have changed to RSDC to RPSDC, that is a rubber, petrochemicals, chemicals skill development council, because petrochemical also included, plastic also included in this. And they also, the PhD Chamber of Commerce, or they decided to encourage the training provider. The HASETRI is the first training providers they got affiliated to RPSDC, and so that the amount of training work HASETRI, because beside IRI, HASETRI from the inception, we tried to train the people. So far, more than 2,000 people we train in automobile industry, whether Maruti, Tata Motors, Renault Nations, and everybody, when they want rubber industry, we conduct the training, HASETRI conduct the training with CII, Confederation of Indian Industry. We conduct the training, Automotive Research Association of India. We conduct the training with the different OEMs, and generally the rubber knowledge of the rubber and rubber components, which is a crucial component of the automobile, and these mechanical, chemical, or electrical engineers. So they want, they get exposure. So we allow them to visit HASETRI, hands-on training we are giving. So this is from the inception HASETRI started the training,
Now we are considering as the IRI also take this role, because India is a huge country, number of trained people. What government of India estimated that about the 1 million people required for the next 10 years for our industry. So that means 1 lakh people to train. The university alone can't do. So that's the reason globally. So the HASETRI, IRI, IRMRA, rubber board, all has to take the play in the respective regions.
True. Okay, let's talk a little bit on your awards. I mean, I know that you have received so many awards. Maybe we highlight some of the, I show some picture. Maybe you can talk about that. What's it all about? Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually previous one. Nitin Gadkari was handing over. This is our director of IIT Kharagpur. They are the one best alumni awards. Every year they select those who are successful from IIT alumni. So they selected a few candidates. So this is the best alumni award is given in 2021. And here the Prime Minister of India, Honorable Prime Minister of India, our Mr. Modi, he joined through online from the Delhi, inaugurated the convocation. So I am very lucky to have it an IIT Kharagpur, and that I also promised IIT Kharagpur I will do something from IIT Kharagpur already. I am working on that, and Senate has agreed to have some. I am giving some award to the IIT Kharagpur in the 3 department. These rubber technology centers, chemical engineering and material science, where department I was associated. So who will be the best one, they will get that award. So I have already, Senate has approved that proposal. I'm going ahead with this.
So we talk about this award as well.
Yeah, this is the Mr. Nitin Gadkari is Honorable Prime Minister of the Ministry of Heavy Industry and Road Transport, and he was the chief guest. And along with me, our Mr. A.K. Bajuri is presenting. We are the first, and his honor for HASETRI being a first recipient of the PhD Skill Development Award.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, this is another special award for you. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually the IRCO, the International Rubber Conference Organization. Generally, they honor those who are fulfilling the objective of IRCO. So they, by conducting conferences, seminars, and etc. And actually, this award they have declared in 2016 in IRC in Japan. So at that time I told I want to take this award in our own country. So so that's the reason in 2022 they have handed over to me. Though it was declared 2016, and after that PK Muhammad also recipient of this award, for his contribution of the conference and seminar. So this generally they all over the world they do one candidate every year. So PK was in 2020, this award is declared, but 22 is handed over to.
That's a very important recognition for the contribution. No?
Yeah, this is the Matthew Tanton, he's the Secretary General of IRCO.
Okay. I will look a little bit on the patents. One of the important things for any research organization is that in creating innovations and also getting, patented so that it commercializes. So can you talk about your experience with the patents through the organization like HASETRI or in JK Tyre? Yeah.
See, how will you measure the performance of the R&D scientist? There the three. One is the patent, second is the publication, third is the writing books, your acceptance, your knowledge globally. These are 3 ways you can see that what you are doing, is it acceptable? So patent is one such thing. So when I joined, I encourage my scientists to do PhD and etc. Patent is not the Dr. Mukhopadhyay alone. The first patent when you do it with one of the PhD program with Professor Bhomik and Arup Chanda is a addition to test development. Then we have a latex carbon black master batches. This also that environmental friendly technologies, latex carbon black master batch, that is also we have a patent. So I have got 5 patents already approved, and series of patents are on the line. And we are not only doing materials now, we are doing a lot of testings, method development, which is a non-standard test method simulating the field conditions. So we encouraging our scientists and engineers to do something innovative and which is new, and so that you can patent, and ultimately it is acceptable to anybody who want to take the commercially, that can be done.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit more on the patent registration in India? How it's going on now, and particularly on the university community, research community, are they active in registering the their innovations or research developments as patents?
See, you might have seen we talked about sustainability. First patent, when I joined here, one green tag, the water-based lubricant, and generally the yeast-treated corn powder. These are all environmental friendly. The non-carcinogenic multifunctional processing aid. So lattice carbon master. So from the inception, I want, you go for a sustainably related patent we can do, number one. Number two, in India, patent earlier in 90s, it takes about 8 to 10 years. It was all documented, no digitization, nothing. And after 2004 or 5, they have started digitization. And you have to have a patent attorney first. You have to apply, and he will do all this job. And to maintain the patent, the lump sum money you have to give. If it is a commercially, you are lucky. And it is for India, for globally, if you can do, it will be another huge cost. But nowadays, what is happening, very smart way of patenting. Now it reduced 8 to 10 years. In between, it was 4 to 5 years. Now it is 2 to 3 years you can get patent to be filed. My suggestion will be, any research scientist which is doing a work, if it is a totally innovative way, before publication, you try to do some patent, and then you go for a publication. So that's my suggestions.
Yeah.
And advice.
It's important, and getting patents and patented. But you also did a lot of published books as well as the chapters. That's also one of your passion.
Yeah. If you see the publication list, as I told you, from I started in first these are the publications. For the IRI, I will written. We have about whatever the knowledge gathered in from IIT, Bayer, and JK so far, I put into the piece of paper. This is the first book you can see, the introduction of polymer science and rubber technology. This is for basically for IRI students they wrote, and I converted these books into the lecture note, about 1200 all PowerPoint presentation slide, which is commonly used by all PGDR or DRS students, and also faculty member also take some information from that. And here I can see the middle book, the reverse engineering of rubber product, is the only book available internationally, because we have done last 30 years whatever data is generated in HASETRI, because generally rubber industry is very confused, so they do not share. So we found that why not share this data. The Professor Bhomik, Saikat, and Saikat helped to write this book and all this data, and the Professor Bhomik and Mr. Barnwal, we together. But this book is quite acceptable to the tire industry, and a lot of from the National Academy of Engineers, the current engineering practices, they told me. I was also the member there. So I have written this current tense engineering practices, where all the rubber industry processing is there. And we have certain book chapters we have written. One is the graphene, and is the fatigue gag growth, and so on. So what I do, whatever research you are doing, I told my scientists to try to put in a piece of paper and share the knowledge, either by publication in the paper or publication as a book chapters or complete books.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Whether you write a paper, whether you write a chapter, whether you write a book, you pass on the knowledge that you learn, and at the same time you also learn. When you write a book, when you when you do the training, you learn more than
Yes.
the participant sometimes. So it's very important.
You are also allowing your scientists also to learn, because initially they prepare, because it is not the author itself, it is students helping them to write the books, so that students get more training.
Yeah. It's important, I think, to excel in their careers and by doing this kind of activity, publications and books as well. Yeah. One thing that I understand, you mentioned a conversation that you have guided more than 10 PhDs from HASETRI. They working at the same time also did a PhD, and recently I came to know your IRI Rajasthan secretary, Mr. Sunil Jagarshia. He's at now is something like 65 plus years, and he's going to, he's pursuing now PhD. It's very inspiring to know people continue learning, doing PhDs. And personally, you supported many of your colleagues or younger colleagues of yours to complete the PhD. Can you talk about that experience, please? Yeah.
I see. I told him that actually, they doing the university degree, BTech and MTech, really you learn to get a job. Ultimately, the PhD is also the whatever the knowledge you learn in graduate or postgraduate level, how you convert it into the really. It is a vital considering, searching the patent, going to the different books. Actual learning starts when you start being yourself to do something. So I encourage in the two. My advantage is, suppose a fellow join his BTech or masters, and if they have tendency to that to frequently job change. I told I can do the both way. I encourage when they do PhD at least 3 to 5 years, they have to work, and automatically they have continued with me, and ultimately they're going to know that what is the advantage. This is one. Second thing is that is the way you can explore different areas of the field. Suppose today, first my PhD, Arup Chanda, Dr. Arup Chanda, all of you will know that. He with us, HASETRI. So I told him, why not doing that? IIT Kharagpur on those days, he has to go for a few months to go to coursework and so on. Then Arup Chanda, Professor Bhumi Kandar with the first PhD, and then followed by Chattaraj. Arup Chanda is called the addition science, and then Chattaraj. I select the subject as per the entire industry, our industry requirement. Chattaraj also considering, the one is the new materials which can be used as a improving the processability and performance. That is also IIT Kharagpur with Dr. Tripathi. Then Vijit Adhikari, and he is also with us, and he did with the Calcutta University. Then we have the Saikat Das Gupta and the Samor and the Saugata and all these gentlemen with the Mohanlal Sugad University. All subject very interested, all mostly the environmental friendly material. And then we have Dr. Shamui, who is a Rinpoche at Calcutta University. Then Sanjay Bhattacharya, Mithul Das Gupta. So if you see the work what you have done, most of the work is the sustainable material, like bearing a few. And beside that, another 4 PhDs already registered. They are doing under Calcutta University. Name is not there. We with the Calcutta University and another with IIT Delhi. So our laboratory is affiliated, as it is affiliated with the IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, and our laboratory center IIT Kharagpur, Calcutta University, Mohanlal Sugad University. So that is the way you can cross knowledge sharing for the different university. Each university has got its own area of expertise. So we try to them, and we always encourage because to see that new field, where they can come, they can work, and which is beneficial not only for enhancing the knowledge but also the industry as a whole. So I'm continuing. This is also the encouraging scientists to prepare themselves for future requirements.
It's very, very important. Excellent work, sir, on that. Excellent. Let's get into the few more issues that I want to discuss with you. One is that you had been into the ISO TC45 meetings as a committee member on behalf of India. So can you talk about some of the experiences you gained out of this in the standards, ISO standards? And I do request you to talk about ISO standards versus the BIS standards. Okay, how is the the development side particularly with respect to the rubber products or the tire industry?
As you know that the different countries, they have a national standard. Right. Now national standard like ASTM, like a DIN in Germany, then GIS, Japan Industrial Specification from Japan. So every country like India also they call BIS. Now what is happening, you see the late 80s and beginning 90s, the ASTM and was very much a predominant role for standardizations. Now the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, which is headquarters in Geneva, and their members, national body are the member of ISO. And their TC45 is rubber sectional committee. Similarly, every national standard I was a member of BIS, this IS different standard committee of petrochemicals, chemicals here. So there I found that different test method standard we did it. But when the after the globalizations, when the India opened the economy 1991, so if you have to do the business with the, if you are signatory of WTO, you have to follow international standard. So the ISO, I generally the first ISO meeting ended in the Cape Town. At that time, the South African is apartheid. This just released at that time. It is in 1992 or 93. So the along with this BIS representative Manu Patel, Mr. Virat, myself, we went there, and ISO what he found, the representation, because ISO standard, the Japanese or Chinese or other country, they are very strong there. They know that anything your national standard you push to the ISO, it will benefit your country. We think that Indian representative was very less. So at that time, I decided why not we push also certain India, to see that certain our methods can also be accepted. And also the attending ISO on behalf of national standard body, you get a chance to know what is happening in international standardization. There was also the STM ISO initially. This is a picture in Cape Town, and Manuba is there, Mr. Veed at the backside. So we are attending this all country representative from different countries was there. Then actually STM was very strong there. Then China, Japan. So both they are advocating there, and ultimately we gained a lot of gains how they are making the standard and etc. And today, I went up to 2000, 2002. Then I told Dr. Shaikat Dasgupta to represent the HASETRI, or is representing peace from our side. Shaikat is representing ISO TC 45. This is a picture in Budapest where myself and BIS, Mr. This is Mr. Satish Kumar is there. And then we have Andrew Lev, Mr. Amit Biswas, then Menu Patel and Mehul Patel, both are there in that meeting. This ISO gives us an eye opener. Suppose you can contribute also ISO by different, HASETRI so far I'm telling you series of methods. Now standard body, a lot of methods is developed in our laboratory, also accepted by the ISO. So this is one very good thing that you can contribute to the international body. And today, let me be very clear, all industry, whether tire, rubber, all industry, you have to follow the ISO standard. So what national standard bodies are doing now, they take the ISO standard and they give a different nomenclature, they dual, ISO such and such, slope IS such and such. So all countries are doing like that. That is that is a national standard as well. So they are merging with the international body.
I think it's also good for the companies who are exporting so that they maintain the international quality requirements.
Yes.
So, okay, I've recently, at IRC 2022, you celebrated your 75th birthday. That was very interesting, and good to know that you're already 75 years old. And thank you for inviting me there. Also, I was there too, and I had a chance to meet many rubber technologists together and celebrating your birthday. I think that is very unique. Whether you celebrate with your family members, okay, but it's so coincidence as well that IRC dates are the same time with your birthday as well. Okay, so how was your feeling at that day? Standing next to all the fellow. I think some of your competitors, some of them are buddies to you, some are younger, some are from the industry, some of them from international, all of them, everybody is a rubber people. Yeah. So
see, I can tell you right now what I've decided when you are fixing the date of IRC 2022, when you shifted that one, then actually the November is the best place to do the conference in India. And that to Bangalore, but you do not have any season, not hot or not cold. So we have and the availability of the hotels. Luckily, the dates availability on match. So 24th, 25th, 26th of November. Then I realized that most of the international community, or whole rubber fraternity, will be present there itself. All my students and all my gurus, or those who are So everybody will be there, IRCO members and different IRC committee and different university, institute, IRI, governing council, everybody will be there. Why not do that? So that I disclosed this thing to Shamor and Basu, let us do that. What we can, they told that, see, staying with the family is good, but this type of opportunity will never get in once in a life, where the international fraternity, our community whole as a whole is present, including our chairman, everybody, JKT people came. And here you can see the different, my colleagues in the HASETRI, JK Tire, Apollo Tire, all tire industry. Then you have a IRCO member, and you have a, this is a typical Karnataka trace, and Mr. Barucha, Anil Bhomik, Mr. Mishra. So this is my lifetime, what you consider. It is a once in a life it comes, and I am very happy that this happened. Here you can see that IRCO member was present, Mr. Matthew Tronton, and also our new chairman of IRCO, Mr. P.K. Muhammad. So I am very lucky that I have that opportunity to celebrate against all this, those who are my students, teachers, colleagues. This is unique opportunity. Even the raw material suppliers and your company, everything is there. I was very happy about celebrating that day. And
Definitely.
you are also there.
Yes, I was there, and I'm really, it's a fantastic moment of, by watching that one, your birthday celebrations of the 75th year. Fantastic, sir. And I'm sure.
Yeah, all credit goes to my colleagues, and they have arranged everything, Mr. Mishra, P.K. Mohammed, and all those things. I was, behind the scene, they worked.
Right. So, I wanted to continue to celebrate these birthdays many more years, and hope a chance to get, invitation to me as well to watch that one again. This is a fantastic event on that day, one is memorable as an audience, Oh, 75 years old man is celebrating with a fellow rubber technologist, with all everybody's gem of their lives, their career. It's not just everybody are successful people, and they're all together in one place celebrating a birthday of Dr. R. Mukhopadhyay. Wow, that was a great moment for me as a person to watch it. I'm really thankful for you to inviting me to join that event on that day. So we are about to end this session very shortly. Before I end this session, I do like to request you to talk about two things. One is that your advice for the younger generation, both on the rubber technologists and the entrepreneurs in the rubber industry, what to do, good advice for them, and also that advice to the Indian rubber industry, what they can do more to explore the global market.
See, my first suggestion, there is no substitute of hard work. Whatever way the responsibility is given to you, try to fulfill what they expect from you. To do that, actually, first you have to develop the self-confidence. Now, how to develop the self-confidence? I told my different lectures, people can have a self-confidence if you have a sufficient money. It's called cash, C-A-S-H. I consider if you have a self-confidence of you require a cash, K-A-S-H. That is the knowledge. K is knowledge. A is the attitude. If you have a knowledge, you should have a proper attitude to apply that knowledge or sharing. Then after the A, there is the S. S is the skill. You have a knowledge and attitude. Without a skill, you cannot progress. So first you have to acquire the knowledge. Second, you have to have an attitude to apply that knowledge. And for applying the knowledge, you acquire the skill. Wherever job you are working, try to develop the skill. That will be very clear if you want a BTech in rubber technology or diploma. And if you do not go and mix yourself in the Banbury, or if you do not build a tire, or if you do not cure a tire, your knowledge is half-hearted. So the skill means, you should not have it depends on your, the operator or fitter or supervisors. So my suggestion, those who are GT or graduate engineer joining in the tire rubber industry, first 3 years, try to work with the operator, supervisor, try to see what is happening instead of concentrated into the cabin. If you are engineers, yes, Engineers is required, at the time of entry, degree is required. The degree has no meaning until unless you acquire this adequate skill. So the knowledge, attitude, and skill. Once you have the skill, so then you have to create the habit of doing it regularly. It is not like that. So remember the word KASH, KASH, the knowledge, attitude, skill, and habit. If you have a habit regularly doing, this is my first advice. Second advice is today the technology is considering is the cooperation, co-creation. It is not you alone you can't do. Today, you have to have especially in the tire itself, these are three different material. I always talk. One is the metal, another is the organic tire cord, and is the compound. Their behavior is different, but they have to work as a one substrate under dynamic condition. That is a teamwork. The most thing is the success is based not on the individual, it's a teamwork. To develop that attitude of working in a team, that is the second advice. And the third advice, what you would like to know, keep yourself updated what is happening in and around the world. Today, things are available. It is very clear. What I'm considering, what is the change driver in the industry? There are the 5 change drivers. One is the sustainability and circular economy. Second is the legislation and regulation. Third is the technology obsolescence, new emerging technology, that is IoT, AI, machine learning, and so on, so on. Keep yourself updated. And fourth one is the very important is the whatever industry you are, who is your customer, and what is the requirement, needs, and expectation, especially automobile industry. Now, what is the changes in automobile industry coming? IC to hybrid to the EV to the the fuel cell and the hydrogen economy. You not need to be an expert. Keep yourself available and yourself updated. What is actually happening? When it is really is coming, you will be ready for that. So the last but the not least one, the dedication and commitment. Let me consider if you do not dedicate and commit of the particular job, you cannot shine in your life. The commitment and dedication is the success mantra of anybody's life. And last is the execution. Dedication, commitment, and if you do not execute your ideas, innovative idea will come, but how can you convert ideas to action? Idea to action is called travel time. So this time, every time you have to consider with the latest technology, that is consider sensor, digitization, integrator, software, algorithm, all these things are available. How quickly you can utilize those technology, not necessarily you have to learn everything. You try to see who can provide you. So you can do faster, you can develop. I think so these are a few things, and never stop learning. And at least you should have a reading habit regularly. And when you read, when you attend seminar, conference, when you go back, try to share your learning. Then actual learning starts when you started sharing. I hope I'm clarified. These are the few things if young people follow. My advice. I hope there'll be no problem. They can rise to any level.
Sure, that's really very useful comments, suggestions to the young people. How about the industries to explore new markets? What to do?
See, question today, they keep what is happening after the COVID-19, COVID epidemic, what happened? People in is eye opener for everyone. They cannot depend on the single country. So the people has to look for alternative suppliers. Now, what is actually happening? India advantage is we are going to be the largest populous country in the world. And you have a 65% population with the age of, let us 18 to 35. So India will go into the young up to 2060. So most of the India will be the hub of the human resource for every field all over the world. And we have taken a corrective action, the IT, information technology or digital application of digital technology. India is in the forefront. Where there is a, you see today people never realize that even a village fellow, they are, they're just like a online payment. So this is one of the examples. So India has got a great future. So people are looking about India, and we are lacking about the infrastructure, but that is also improving. Railways network, road network, and the sea. Everything is coming up, and this decade is Indian decade. But one of the big challenge that is coming, very clear. Our Prime Minister told after the Paris Protocol or the COP 26 and 27, we told by net zero will come in 2070. And this is a huge task to achieve with this population, because the energy requirement will be tremendous. Our growth will be CAGR 11 to 12% energy requirement. How we can for the coal-based to the non-renewable to renewable energy. This is a huge investment is required. The government of India is doing that one. So and the young generation, those who are in this respect, try to learn, as I told beginning, the decoupling, how you develop a product. Suppose today, whatever FTA India government is signing, in the UK and other, if your product is a sustainable material, you no need of paying duty. Everybody looking for a sustainable product. And so the export parts, ultimately government is coming with a lot of incentive for MSME sector. In Indian respect, the employment opportunity, MSME providing 45 to 50% employment. And due to the COVID-19, they have not done well, but now government is giving a lot of incentive. These MSME will help to the other bigger sector. Government of India also realized the defense sector. See, there are the 4-5 sector: defense, space, health, beside automobile. The rubber industry can go, automobile industry is one, it was considered. Next is coming other infrastructure, like a defense, the road or the port. Everywhere you require the elastomeric materials. And now another challenge is coming. The product should be lighter and stronger. So how can rubber industry, whether it is a tire or product is, how you can develop a lighter product without sacrificing the quality. So if you can do that, you will be a major exporter, because today already India is a hub of a small cup in the world, most of the cases. And most of the automobile industry giants are present in India. Whether it is a European or USA or Japan or Korean, all technology is present. And everybody know that India domestic market is huge. So export obligations from here if we can do. And next jump which is coming, what I came to know, the chips and semiconductors and others, which is now Taiwan or China, this country or USA. Now there are a lot of things are going. Maybe next 5 to 7 years, India will be one of the major exporter for such type of product. So and India, I can tell you since the advantage India is a democratic, English as a language, and development, young scientists, and they're developing good product. A lot of startup is coming, and it is one of the I can tell you, not the second or first or second. We are the more number of startup is coming for new technology. So India has a great futures, as I can tell.
Wow, thank you, sir. Thank you for all the input. Yeah, you want to add something? Yeah.
I want this MSME sector one is advice. What our Prime Minister also consider the zero defect and zero effect. That is called JET certificate. Whatever you do, this is one of the things, the quality ranked up. So you can rubber product, you have to consider how you can make a defect-free first-time quality, number one, and convert the waste to the wealth, the circular economy. That's because a lot of energy point of view, whether it is a water, whether the electricity, whether it is the steam, everything which is anything the waste, can you convert into the wealth? That is the profitability. Okay.
Sir, thank you very much. I can still go on with other points, still a lot to talk, but I think we end this session today here. I really appreciate the time you've given to me today to talk about your experience and the lessons you learned. And I know it's a very long session today. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this conversation. Thank you very much.
Once again, thank you very much for to you. You spend so much time and arrange these things. And I thought that the conversation with you. It helps. I will be very happy. The young generation try to see that and try to change. They do not take. And another, last but not least, they learn from the other mistake, not from the own mistake. If you learn from other mistake, you will be the smart enough to catch up what is required. Thank
Well
you very
said.
much.
Well said, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Guys, that's a session with Dr. R. Mukhopadhyay, Rabindra Mukhopadhyay, or shortly RM, the director of the HASETRI. He is also chairman of the Indian Rubber Institute. He is also president of the Indian Rubber Manufacturers Association, and he is the director of R&D at JK Tyre. I'm really hoping that you found this session, useful, informative, and you take some points that you make a changes in your, in your work or your company as it fits. So thank you all for joining this session today. Bye bye for now. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.